And welcome to Little Black Book 91. The truth is, rejection hurts everyone, but secure people don't let it define who they actually are. They don't chase to prove their worth. They're not fighting for their self esteem. They're not fighting to be worthy. They're not fighting to be seen in this rejection, right? And fight for your love back like the other three insecure attachments. That's not to say that rejection doesn't hurt them. It's simply to say that it just doesn't speak to who they actually are. They can simply just say, that was disappointing. Yeah, that hurts, but I know I'm going to be okay. See, for secure people, love isn't about control. It isn't about the disappointment necessarily of the person rejecting their personhood. It's about connection, and then unfortunately, that connection has come to an end, and they don't take it as necessarily a failure per se. It's just clarity. That doesn't mean they are the most perfect human beings. It means that it just doesn't impact their personhood, as I said once before. They understand that someone's no doesn't necessarily mean that they're not enough. It doesn't mean that they're not fit to be somebody else's partner. And so they have peace in this. They recognize their boundaries of where they begin and where they end. And they recognize that their self-worth isn't dependent upon you choosing them or not. They're still valuable. So certainly like how having, a $5, $10 or £5 or £10 note in your hand, whether it's in my hand or your hand, it's still the same fiver or tenner. It doesn't change its value based upon whose hand is upon it. And very much so, like the rejection that comes to a secure person's life, that doesn't change the value that they bring and who they actually are. So while others may spiral, while others may detach, while others may question their value, they stay secured and centered. They feel the pain, but they don't, and they know how to process it. They know how to understand it, and they know how to work through it. Of course, bitterness happens to everyone, but they don't allow that to consume them because that's the wisdom of someone being secure. They've had the opportunity to be able to be stress tested and be able to be regulated in the most emotionally stressful environments and situations. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what that actually looks like, how secure people deal with rejection and losing their peace at times, why they don't take somebody's rejection as a pounding at who they are and what their value is, and how they actually respond to rejection in a secure manner. Okay, all right. So let's get into the video. Let's not waste much time. Okay, and break this all the way down for you guys. But before we do, make sure you guys do me a massive favor. You are liking, you are sharing, you are subscribing to the channel, and you're clicking on that bell button. And make sure you hype this video up as well. Okay, all right, because I need to. All right, we need to get into this thing. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. All right, let's get into this video and break some stuff down. First and foremost, let's talk about the core beliefs of a secure person, okay? For the secure person, rejection is about compatibility, not their worth. And it's interesting because when you look at the other attachments, rejection is about control. It's about their freedom. It's about their worthiness. It's about the fact that they feel like it's abandonment, right? But for secure people, this doesn't often be the case. That doesn't mean they don't have those feelings. It means that rejection for them is simply about, we just don't work out. It's not compatible. That doesn't mean they don't have the withdrawal symptoms like everybody else. They can feel disappointed and still be okay. They recognize that having highly stressful emotions does not mean they have to act on it impulsively, or that they can't be they can't be at a discomfort and have to do something about it. They're able to sit in that discomfort. Okay. Number three, they recognize that everybody has the right to choose, and so do I, and so do they. So if they reject me, that's their God-given right as well. Okay. Now, the reason why they think this way is because they often grew up in a household where there was a good amount of emotional care and their needs were simply met. Love wasn't conditional. Love wasn't neglectful, and love wasn't scary or harmful, like we see with our three attachments. For them, they were attuned well and they were allowed to emote and share their personhood with those who love them. They understand that rejection isn't often performance based or circumstantial. It's not based upon them having to do something to get it. Therefore, they can receive it once more again because because they love themselves and people will love them for who they actually are. Their self-esteem is rooted in internal validation, which in other insecure attachments, dismissive, fearful, avoidance, and anxious, is often rooted in external validation in some regard, right? The anxious person looks for relationships to validate them, and dismissive avoidance are also internally validated, but they also feel some type of way when they are in relationships because they feel like they don't want to give anybody the opportunity to validate them. Okay, so they don't want no external validation. And then you got fearful avoidance who want a bit of both. Okay, all right. So as a simply put, so for the secure person, these are three common conversational examples that they may bring to the table in regards to rejection. Right. Number one is they're not going to be trying to over explain something. Right. So they might say, "Thank you for being honest. I wish you the best. May the Lord bless you," and continue on their way, right? That doesn't mean they don't think about it. That doesn't mean they don't have pain. That doesn't mean they don't cry in their bedroom. It means that with you, they're able to accept that you may not want this relationship anymore. Okay. All right. Number two, they may say, I'm disappointed, but I understand. And this is them acknowledging the emotions and acknowledging the pain, but not over dramatizing it, not underplaying it either. Like a dismissive avoidant would underplay it, not overdoing it like the fear, the anxious person, but also not doing the cat and mouse game like the fearful avoidant, right? And number three, an example would be that they may say, "This hurts. This is very painful. But I appreciate your honesty, and we needed a clarity and we needed to make sure it was best for both of us. So thank you," right? They are able to be vulnerable without trying to close themselves off, without self-abandoning themselves, right? Not, like with anxious people, they'll self-abandon, like you reject them and they want to fight for your love. You got the avoidance who will detach considerably. Okay, you don't agree with me? All right, cool. Don't call me, don't text me. I don't want to hear nothing from you again. Right? There's that pain of anger that they feel. And then their fearful avoidance might accept it at the beginning, but then they're not going to say they're going to be vulnerable. And then a couple of hours later, maybe a couple of days later, they're fighting for your love again, right? Whereas secure people is like, "Oh no, you said it's over. It's over. Okay, cool. I understand it. It hurts. It's painful, but I accept the fact that you needed to do this for you," right? So with secure people, they're able to maintain self-compassion as well as also being compassionate towards you. They don't see rejection as a failure, right? That doesn't mean they don't feel like rejection doesn't hurt, and it's a shame that hasn't worked out. It's just not a failure against them. Okay, they're able to communicate calmly and clearly in very high intense environments or situations, right? So a breakup as such could be a high intense emotional example, but they're sticking true to their values as a core. They reflect on lessons rather than blaming other people. They recognize that actually I need to look back at some of these things and look at how I can improve myself and be better developed for the next person. Okay. They keep their perspective, they don't project, and they recognize where they have to process their emotions in this situation. Rejection is just a redirection towards somebody who's going to be compatible or better aligned for them in the long run. Okay. Number five is that they stay open to love. Okay, they are not talking jaded like a lot of people do, right? Like this love game don't work, and the dating pool's got pee in it, and men don't want to know what they want anymore. Women don't know what they want anymore. They're not here contributing towards the fire and dumpster fire of efforts and thoughts by people who have been jaded and hurt because their discernment's off, and they choose people that actually hurt, right? They're not doing that. Okay, they're not allowing their heart to be closed, and this is actually how secure people tend to move. They're secure in the way that they handle these affairs. And this is something we're all looking to do, to be more emotionally regulated in our processing, understanding, and also our expressions. Okay. So for you, if you're looking to be more secure, this is what we're looking for. We're able to be open, be honest, be vulnerable, say how we feel, but we're not allowing that bitterness to eat away at us. We're able to recognize we have to work through some of the pains that we have and be able to say, "Hey, you know what? This does hurt, but I'm recognizing that in this moment, this is what I need. And if this is what you need, fantastic. I have to allow you to do so." All right. We don't fight for people who are not getting in the ring with us. But listen, my time is up. And make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. You click on that wonderful bell button. And if you're trying to get more secure, then this is where you need to be. Then click on the link down below and get yourself assigned to the coaching as well. We will see you again very, very soon next week for another enthralling conversation. Appreciate you.